let me also write something in the chat here. If you have any questions for the stream, please write them here, and I'll try and remember to check them. Nice. And we're just chilling until the stream actually starts. We're going to try and start around 1, but it's kind of dependent on whenever Matt Ram shows up. So.
Whether Matt Ram shows up.
Yeah.
What about Ange or anyone else?
I called him along with Megan and Matt Ram, but he didn't answer. Can I, like, put the call out again? Oh, Matt Ram's joined. Okay.
Hey.
Hey, it's your boy.
What's up, dude?
It's our boy.
What's going on?
What's going on? Yeah, you guys got to turn on, if you got a webcam or anything, you got to turn those on. I don't want to be the only one.
I don't have a webcam,
It's okay.
unfortunately. This is the same PC that I was using last time, so I don't have a webcam.
Let me see if the computer working. Get my webcam. Tony, guess what?
What's up?
I bought a new 3DS XL
Really?
with Pokemon Sun for $60.
Nice. Pokemon Sun's, it's very good. It was it was much better than X and Y.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I definitely, I really did enjoy Pokemon Sun. There's a lot of cutscenes that slow the game down, but overall it's a pretty fun game.
Yeah.
Definitely worth it.
Playing Animal Crossing.
Yeah, dude,
Capri
Animal Crossing's
Sun.
unreal. Capri Sun, yeah. Whatever that adds to this.
Ray, are you going up to the cottage today?
Huh? No, I don't think today. Like, it's raining out. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was supposed to do some grocery shopping for my dad, so we can have lunches and stuff for the week, and then I go up during the week if the weather gets better.
Yeah.
Better weather.
Super cold there yesterday.
Yeah. It would be. Like, the cottage is like real awesome, but like if it's rainy and gross, then it's better not to be up there.
Yeah.
Fair.
Just because it's so.
Just gotta do some cottage living.
That's true. Okay,
Cottage
I'm gonna
living.
Grab the responses.
Are we waiting on people?
I guess we could start. I mean, we should probably wait until raid at 1 to actually start this, just in case, because I did, like, that's what I said the official go live point was at or whatever, but yeah.
Well, that might be a good idea because I did join a game of Call of Duty, so.
Oh, are you playing?
Well, just while I was waiting for everyone, because I joined and no one was on, and then I was in the game, and then Anthony ended up calling me from a different Discord, so.
Yeah,
I'll just
the
play
video
Untaxed.
chats have to be in a friend one.
I guess I should go get my AirPods. That'll make life easier.
Okay.
You guys want to play Warzone after the podcast?
I would. Yeah, that sounds alright.
Sounds A-okay.
Yeah. So I do have, it looks like 4 questions that came in. And I keep on moving my
All right,
camera
I've
down.
got-
It keeps on being too high.
I've got a few little topics that I can
Nice.
bring.
I can talk about some stuff too.
Man, I've been, maybe I'll save this for the podcast, but I don't really care. This Swiss Army knife that I got, like, I don't know how long ago, probably like a year and a half ago. I didn't ever take it with me to work, really, just because I don't want to carry a knife with me to work I just don't think that that's really practical. But I've had it sitting here, and man, it's just fun to like click some of these pieces of it. Like the screwdriver part, it's got like a really good like click to it.
Yeah.
It's like a
You know,
fidget
he's got to be
spinner.
like Angelo, right? Like he's just.
Yeah, but he does it
Flipping
with
it.
dangerous stuff. And then he throws his knife at the ground directly beside people's feet.
I mean, with one easy payment of $0, you too could.
Die.
Yeah.
Okay, we could probably get started now.
All right. Let me just close this. It's all ogre.
Yeah, here, let me do a clap so I know when to start the podcast. This is a bad idea. I shouldn't do this. Too late. Oh, that maxed out nice. Okay, that'll be easy to see in the waveform, hopefully. And really bad on people's ears. Although I did give you fair warning that it was coming. Welcome back to Untaxed and Uncollected. This is episode 26. Somehow we're still going.
26.
We
That's
got
good.
lost in Rona season, and we got found afterwards.
Lost in the sauce.
Yeah.
Too much sauce.
We put out, honestly, I put out the question and answer thing about like an hour and a half ago, maybe 2 hours. And we got a fair amount of, just puberty there. We got a fair amount of responses in that amount of time, which is good. So I'll just read out the questions now to kind of start us off, and then we can move on to other more pressing business issues. So the first question for this week comes to us from Mark.Wolfram9. And he asks,
Classic.
long or short Lincoln Logs? Now I'm going to let both of you answer this first because I don't know what a Lincoln Log is.
Man, Mark asked good questions.
What's a
the
Lincoln
question?
Log? Long or
Yeah.
short Lincoln Logs?
Long,
What is that?
Short Lincoln Logs. Okay, well, first issue is Matt doesn't know what Lincoln Logs are.
Yeah, let's just pretend like I didn't say 3 times that I also don't know what those are.
You don't know what Lincoln Logs are?
No, what is a Lincoln Log?
Man, okay, here, wait, let me find some. I'll put it into this chat. Let me see. Lincoln Logs. They're like you build stuff with them. You build like little like kind of like
Let me
frontier
Google it.
like, houses and stuff.
Lincoln Logs. Oh, this thing.
What is it? Explain it.
It's
Describe
like a building block.
There you
toy.
go. It's in the chat. Those are what they are.
Those look fun. How can I get some of those?
Oh. Wait, so long versus short. Oh, I guess I can see
Yeah,
the
it's
short
like-
ones there.
You see, like on the right side, there's like a
Yeah.
piece that's like I don't know 3 inches long. There's pieces that are really like 1 inch long, like little 2 pieces.
Mhm.
I will say this to Mark. One, you can't have one without the other.
Okay.
That's like a Lincoln Log essential. So
I'm learning so much about Lincoln Logs today.
yeah, but I will say I personally you can do more with the short ones than the long ones. Because if you have an abundance of long ones, it kind of limits what you can make. Short ones, you can make literally anything. It's just not that sturdy.
Yeah, you know what? Like, looking at what they are, I was literally thinking the same thing. I was like, I've never utilized Lincoln Logs, so I'm kind of comparing it more to, like, Legos or, like, Connects or whatever, but I feel like
Sure.
having the shorter ones, you could do everything that you
Well,
want with the shorter ones.
You see the photo that I sent to the chat?
with like
Most
a
of these
house.
structures are built out of the two, like the little like one pieces.
Right.
But you'll see every
Yeah.
now and then they'll put like a long piece in
The
between
bigger
them
one?
to hold the stacks together.
Interesting.
So that's the one thing.
They
Right.
do look pretty sweet, though. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, we did get a box of them when we were younger, and yeah.
Do you think we could get Lincoln Logs in Tabletop Simulator and do a podcast stream building something?
For maybe I have no idea. It's not really a game though, so maybe not.
No, it's not a
That'd
be
game.
fun.
But it'd be
No,
like
no,
putting
but-
Legos on tabletop. Like, you could still build
Can you get
something.
Lego
Oh.
on tabletop?
We could
Probably.
definitely do some kind of like
Building exercise?
builder blocks or something like that.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's plan to do that at some point and maybe stream it if it's interesting.
All right. Yeah, so I'm gonna say short. That's my answer.
Matt, do you concur? I already said short also.
I'll go for long.
All right, fair enough.
They do remind me of like those cartoon sausages.
Explain yourself. What cartoon sausages?
You know, one of like the guys eating all the sausages and just all in like a
Oh, like the
a
linked
rope?
sausages?
The links, yeah.
All right, that's a fair answer.
Yeah.
Fair play. I'll give it to you.
Fair play, GLHF.
Next question comes to us from Left Bench Articles, all one
This-
word, on Instagram, which is also, I'm pretty sure, Mark the Shark. Or it
Really?
might be Left Bench Articles, actually. Whoever Ben is and his charticles.
Left
Close.
bench articles. Yeah, I let's go left bench articles. I
I
think.
think, yeah, it's kind of like Benjamin Button. That makes sense. Do we even need ribs? Now,
Ooh.
from my own personal perspective, I think I need, like, I feel like if I wasn't able to go to Big Bone and get a nice rack of ribs, like, what was it even for, you know? So I'm going to say yes, require ribs.
I wonder if they're talking about body parts.
Oh.
That's what I was gonna say. I was thinking like body
Like
parts.
ribs. Yeah.
Well, if we
But
didn't
hey.
have ribs, then cows wouldn't have ribs.
I mean, I don't really like the logic there doesn't follow really. There's some holes in the logic.
Yeah, really?
But I will.
Explain it to me.
Yeah. Well, humans aren't cows.
What?
Ergo, if humans didn't have ribs, why wouldn't cows? Like, why would cows have to not have ribs?
But how can our eyes be real if mirrors aren't real?
Oh,
Yeah.
take that, left Ben art charticles.
Arts charticles. Everyone's favorite. Okay, so what's your answer then?
I don't know, Matt. You go first on this one.
Well, in a realistic setting, you do need ribs,
Okay.
but at the same time, I'm sure it'd be more useful if you didn't have ribs, because it'd be more flexible and bendy.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you also need
Now,
them to
listen.
fend off attackers.
Did anyone, when they were young, like I think this story came out when I was in like, I don't know, when I was like 10 or something, like not that old. Hear the thing where it was a rumor that Marilyn Manson,
Yeah.
the singer,
Yeah,
had
they
some
got rid of a rib for a very specific reason. Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like that is
I
a
know.
rumor that has permeated time.
That's kind of like the rumor that Tony Hawk only has one testicle,
Yeah,
Really?
which I don't. I think that was a rumor as well.
Good for him.
but that would be more believable just because of skateboarding injuries.
Yeah, I guess.
Horseshit.
But I think that was like a rumor that was going. So I mean,
He probably didn't have ribs.
yeah.
Well, he
like,
did have all but one, allegedly.
No, I think he had like a few ribs removed. That was the rumor. But I did hear him address that rumor, and he's like, it's totally fake. People just like, because one, he's a pretty weird. No, this is the thing actually. If anyone's ever listened to an interview or like a little commentary by Marilyn Manson, dude's actually pretty smart and pretty like,
He's a nice guy.
like he seems like pretty like he's good at interviewing. Like he's not interviewing or being interviewed. Like he's good at answering questions, and he seems like he's pretty smart and very like sensible and definitely not #normal because he's a pretty interesting guy in the music.
Because
that he-
ribs?
Well, and he's like people like to create stories about me because of the music that I and like the music that I create, the image that I try and
That's fair.
have, but he's like, that's not true. But yeah, his music is very strange. Like it's a heavy metal, like death metal music. But and he also his name is obviously not Marilyn Manson in real life. I just heard that he used half of Marilyn Monroe's name and Charles Manson's name. So there
Yeah,
you
I
go.
was always confused by that. Like his
Yeah,
name
so that's why
being Marilyn.
like, that's the when he was making his stage name. I guess he just used cult leader and also Marilyn Monroe. So,
Fair enough.
all right.
I'll just point out as well, an interesting fact is that the thing where people say that guys have one less rib than girls, not true.
Not true.
Yeah.
We all have 8. Where's
What?
the 10?
Matt,
How much do we have? 10?
maybe we have like 24 or something.
I think there's like a
12
I
on
don't
each
know. 8 sounds low.
side.
Someone
8 on
fact check
each
us.
side sounds like
Believable.
Well, that's what I meant.
Or-
Like, it all wraps around.
Okay, let me.
But it
How
doesn't
many ribs do people have? 12 paired ribs, so 24.
Okay.
All right, so you were close. We'll just go. We'll chalk
Or
that
to-
one up to rounding error.
inexperience.
Yeah, that would be better.
Okay.
I got
Are
one
you
more.
sure?
What's up?
Okay, one more. No, I was gonna say, are you sure left bench articles? I'm always confused if it's bench articles or bench articles. But are you sure that's Mark Almaggio?
I think so.
Really? I thought it was literally some kind of like leftist article
Oh.
thing that was sending us like semi-aggressive notes every now.
I don't think that's true. Okay. Oh, actually, we got two more questions because I almost skipped John's question because it was right in the middle. John is a hamster on Instagram, all one word also. Right. What have you done for your mom today to show her your appreciation?
Oh, that's a good
Good
question.
one.
Yeah. We'll start off with Matt Ram.
So, I bought her a wallet that she wanted.
Ooh.
Burberry. Yeah,
Ooh.
big baller. Then I went to Metro, got some flowers and a card.
Hey,
And that was it.
Matt.
Guys,
Seems
I should
good.
have went first because I didn't do like anything yet.
Well, for me today, it was a little bit weird because my mom's not actually home.
Okay.
So I called her this morning and just said hello and wished her happy Mother's Day. And I was planning on making, so like Ashley made me some, they're like cheesecake, coffee cake muffins.
Okay.
And my mom really ended up liking them, so I was going to make her those, and I was going to make them yesterday, but she's not going to be home till Wednesday, so I'm going to make them on Tuesday because she's not actually here.
A classic
But
story.
yeah, I called her this morning and just said, y'all right.
Y'all eat?
Yeah, y'all eat.
Fair enough.
That's pretty much it.
Nice. Good answer.
Very
Thank you.
good, very good.
I mean, Matt's
My
like a
mom
10 out of
also-
10 right now, so.
Well, she made me breakfast, so
She made what?
Yeah, actually, our mom made breakfast today also. It was very, very good. Man, honestly, Sunday mornings, like having like a nice sit down and eat breakfast time is unreal. Like the
The
past
best.
like 5 weeks when we like because we'll like still wake up. Well, I'll wake up at like 9. Everyone else wakes up probably earlier. But
Yeah,
I'll wake up
true.
and it's like go downstairs. Breakfast is like almost ready. All of us sit down, eat together. It's nice. We're on a season, and then we go straight from that into the family room to watch church.
Okay.
And that's
Nice.
the
Wait,
end of that conversation. I guess.
you watched Uncle Mike's service today?
Yes, yeah, we watched
Right.
we watched our Uncle Mike, Pastor Mike Gibney. Oh, Netherax gives a wave emoji in the chat, by the way.
Oh,
So,
shout out Netherax.
sup?
I wish I had a webcam, honestly.
Gotta get after that, dude.
Well, honestly, I don't even know where I would mount a webcam because like my monitor is literally bezel-less. So,
Oh, I just put mine underneath my monitor.
oh, okay, yeah, I would have to do that because my monitor literally has no bezels, so it wouldn't be able to like clip on the top or anything like that. But
Okay.
okay, are those all the questions?
One more question, and this one should be
Okay.
easy because it's a yes or no.
Okay.
Amelia Black Diamond on Instagram writes,
All right.
have you seen the hashtag Creepy Trudeau video yet? And
I
personally,
have not.
I don't know what that is. It sounds
Neither.
funny, Trudeau
Was
is
that
does-
the
creepy.
blackface thing?
Yeah, I do remember blackface Trudeau. That was top 10 anime betrayals for the liberals.
Yeah, I'm just looking it up on YouTube right now. Creepy Trudeau video. I heard like, would that be like his speaking moistly one? That wasn't really creepy. That was pretty funny. So I don't know.
I don't know. It was like specifically like she wrote hashtag creepy Trudeau.
Okay, I will Google it quick. Give me 1 second. Hashtag.
Oh, we actually got another question in right like a few minutes ago, probably.
I will say the top result when I typed in hashtag creepy was hashtag creepy Biden. So,
Maybe it's like a.
hashtag creepy Trudeau. Oh,
How long is it?
I don't know. Someone just sharing. You thought Joe Biden was creepy. Can I introduce you to the Prime Minister of Canada? Let me see.
It's a clap back.
Whoa! Okay, that is creepy.
What is it?
So I don't even know when this came out. Of the closet. But he's saying like, I'm asking all the mums to step out of the room so I can talk to your kids.
What?
Step out of the room for a minute so I can talk
It's
to your
kind
kids.
of weird.
Yeah, I don't like that. Why would you? Why? In what situation would that be appropriate?
I'm not sure. This clip was only 11 seconds long. So
All right. No, we have. Well, I haven't seen it now, but I have. I've got the context. Sounds creepy.
So my
Alright.
answer has actually changed to a yes because
Wow.
I've seen it. That's a good one. Creepy,
is a
creepy
good one.
Trudeau.
All right.
That guy is such a joke.
Yeah, not a big fan. He's
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's whatever. Okay, one more question now. So we got the underscore dot black underscore dot night with a K on Instagram writes, and I believe that's Connor, just by the way. What is something interesting you have made or done or learned during quarantine?
Okay.
Oh, that's a good one.
Who wants to go first?
I could go first. I've been knitting again. I started learning how to knit during the winter, and I've just been continuing on with that.
Nice.
It's nice because, like, you know, when you're in the office, you can't really just, like, I'm not wasting time with it or whatever, but I guess, like, now that we're doing a ton of meetings online, there will be times when I just kind of, like, you know, I'm listening to whatever's going on, and my hands are free anyways, and I'm like, well, pick up the thing that I'm knitting and just, you know, do a few
And
lines.
oftentimes, I think like once you're like fairly good at knitting, it's not really distracting.
No, not at all. At this point, it's basically just like, you know, do the thing, loop, pull it through, and then like on and on and on and on. Like, yeah.
Yeah, like a lot of times when people are reading or on their phone, like that's distracting because they're focusing on something. But a lot of times, like if you see someone who's good at knitting, they're like just looking around and watching TV or something, like doing something else while they kind of just knit, like subconsciously.
Yeah, it's a very like repetitive motion. You could basically do it. Like once you're good enough, I'm sure, yeah, you could just do it without paying attention to it at all. It's a good hobby. Would recommend.
I haven't learned anything new during quarantine, I don't think. Like nothing like new especially, but I have been learning some songs on the guitar.
Okay.
So I learned Yesterday by the Beatles on the guitar, and
Very good.
Is that the
I
song that
learned-
came out with that movie about the Beatles?
no, the song came out before the movie came out.
I thought it was like a mixed release, like multimedia kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like
they made up
a
a song called Yesterday to go along with that
like a
movie.
dual, like where like the marketing campaign was kind of like more than just, you know, it's also the song was part of the marketing campaign for the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
They
not
made
that.
up a fake Beatles song so that the movie would seem more realistic.
And you know what? Made one of the greatest songs of all time while they were at it. So big ups to
There you
the
go.
Big
Whoever
ups.
produced that, probably the
My boy.
Spider-Verse like director.
Big up Big up the whole island.
Big ups to Will
Chet
Smith.
Hanks.
And then I also learned "Shallow"
Ooh,
during quarantine on the guitar. So that song.
don't know it.
And I think that's pretty much it, honestly. Let me think. I learned. Oh, I made bread. That's something new.
That is, you made good bread.
Yeah, I made some bread. I made regular white bread. Shout out Andy Smith for the recipe.
Shout out
And then,
Tuggy G.
Yeah, Tuggy G. For no reason, we
Life.
just shut him.
Yeah,
shout
just
him
if you're
out.
shouting out, you gotta shout out Tuggy G also.
Yeah. I like how it's no longer just Tuffy G.
It's Tug Life.
It's Tug Life.
My favorite tugboat.
Yeah. Rest in tomatoes. But and I also made cinnamon raisin bread.
Nice.
So I
Pretty
did that. That's definitely it.
Nice.
Matt, what have you done?
I got a lot of work done on my truck. Like I did the whole inside of it. I soundproofed it
Nice.
with like studio foam that they use in like sound recording booths. Because like driving 1 hour to work every day on the highway, like I would get a headache afterwards.
Oh, just like the engine's so loud?
Well, it's like the road noise and the wind noise. So I did that. I learned how to do a whole bunch of stuff at work too with like the computers and software we have there,
Nice.
like for the research and development department. So I did that, which is kind of fun. And what else did I do? Honestly, that's about it.
That's pretty
Yeah.
respectable.
I did a lot, like I've been doing a lot of like road tripping since COVID started.
Oh, you're tripping.
So yeah, tripping and getting back into the photography stuff I used to do.
Okay, Matt. On the topic of photography,
Yeah.
I have a question that I think needs answered by everyone.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
go for
I'm
it.
kind of asking it on behalf of like the people, I think.
Rule of thirds and Dutch angle. That's the
Yeah.
only rules you need.
The caption on your last Instagram post, what does that mean?
Wait, let me check.
Oh,
it.
that my this piece of garbage.
Really? Is that? I was like, what? I was like, man, this is a nice truck. Matt's been doing work on it.
Well, I have, but it's like, it's just a thing. Like, I love it. It's a great vehicle, but I just think it's a piece of garbage.
What's the caption?
There's a poop
Oh,
emoji.
poop. Well, now,
Just
Matt,
because it's so old.
here's
Yeah.
the only thing that I'll say, and this is important. As
Go for it.
all good trucks have you
Oh,
added
I'm not
truck
doing it.
nuts?
I'm not doing it. Nope.
You
I'm not
Unbelievable.
doing it.
That's,
know why?
Scum lord, bringer of plagues.
Yeah, bringer of plagues. Honestly, that's my favorite meme of Rona season.
Truck nuts.
No, the who started coronavirus and Stuart Little.
Stuart Little started truck nuts.
Bringer of plagues.
No, I was gonna say Matt won't do that because he listens to because he's a true baby
Yeah,
That's
that's
it.
true.
and he knows from Crystalia that if you have that on your truck, you are gay.
You're gay.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's what Crystalia says.
If anyone
you know
has
what?
that, called out now by Graham.
This is the whole thing that Crystalia talks about is like, you know, when someone's just too much of a bro
Yeah.
that you're like, I don't know,
Yeah.
you might be a little bit gay actually.
Yeah.
And they're like, no man, I'm too much of a guy. I don't even like hugging dudes. I look at my truck. I'm too manly. I've got
Yeah.
look at this truck nuts. And he's like, I think.
Methinks he protests too much.
Yeah. You're like, I don't know, man. It seems like you
Oh.
tried too hard to be a guy.
Another thing I've been doing is reading and watching a lot of like crime documentaries and
Nice.
cult stuff like Waco.
Oh
Graham, you and I
yeah.
were talking about Waco.
Yeah, man, I watched that. That was good.
So good. And then I bought Helter Skelter when I was reading that.
Oh, wait, that's the book
Pretty
about
good.
Before you
Manson.
watch, or no,
Manson
after
murders.
you watch Helter Skelter, you should watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah, I heard that's like super related.
Yeah, definitely
no,
would
like, I
recommend
love-
watching Helter
yeah.
Skelter first, because it'll set it
Yeah.
up.
No, like some of the things that happen in Waco make me wonder like how corrupted the US like task force are.
Yeah.
Like not saying like, David Koresh is right, not saying anything going on there was okay, but like the ATF was in the wrong for some of the stuff they did. And I think the
Well,
way
it's
they
just like
handled
the whole
situation.
situation was just bad.
Oh yeah, well like ATF shot first. That kind
Actually,
of started
I
a chain
think
reaction.
I was watching and reading a bunch of stuff on,
Yeah.
and obviously it's like I don't know if there's actual evidence of who shot first, so no one really
Yeah.
knows. In the
Well, yes,
show,
that's true.
in the
Yeah.
the show, it definitely shows the ATF shooting first because they
Yeah.
shoot the dogs or whatever. But and the survivors of the cult, obviously maintain that the ATF shot first, but
Yeah.
no one really knows who shot first.
Yeah.
What surprised me was the ATF agent who was supposed to infiltrate, Mount Carmel. Like,
Yeah.
he was like pretty close to believing whatever they had going on there.
For sure.
Which is kind of scary to think about it. Like, like you have a job to do. Like, you trained your whole life to fight against bad guys per se, but one guy could change, your mentality on the mission.
Yeah, I did also watch a bunch of other like short documentaries on YouTube. Not documentaries, I guess they were documentaries on YouTube. And the TV show does romanticize the cult a little bit.
Yeah.
Because if you like some of the cult, like the children of the people who died in whatever, or who when they left the cult or whatever, were like, yeah, there was like, not like they weren't referencing the show specifically because I don't think the show was out when this documentary came out, but they were like, it was like way, like even though the cult, like the TV show showed like a lot of weird things that were happening in the cult, there was like a lot more stuff that was happening that was even weirder.
Right.
Like,
yeah,
like all the stuff that he would demand people do or don't do, like small things. Like he was like, oh, you can't eat like certain types of fruit together, and just weird stuff, like really controlling. And he was like, not like, I guess he was sexually abusive to like some of the younger women, but like he was just like physically abusive to like the people and also some of the children, and like the children in there as well, which they didn't show on the TV. Like they showed him as kind
he
of like
was
a nice guy, but also creepy.
he was normal, like compared to other cult leaders, in a sense that.
Yeah.
Wait, Matt?
Go on. Did we
Sorry,
lose
my
Matt?
phone cut out for a minute. No, I'm here. I'm back. He was normal in the sense that he didn't have like a rough upbringing, where he was like exiled in school. He was like bullied. What I remember reading about him was he was just like deranged in his teenage years.
Well, but he was, like, in the show. He mentioned when he was talking to David Thibodeau the first time he meets the drummer. He was like, in school he was moved to the special kids class because he couldn't read well, and then he came out into the playground that one time and it was like, oh look, here come all the retards, and he looked behind him and it wasn't like, and he was like, there was no one there and everyone was calling him a retard.
Wow.
So he did have like a shunned childhood kind of, and didn't really fit in. So that's what usually drives, these type of leaders, right?
Well, I say that related to Jim Jones. If you guys know that story,
The Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid Man. But like that guy had like crazy life before. But
Yeah.
All cult leaders have some MO
Yeah.
that sparked them to do these
Like, this
things.
is the thing. You know it's sus when, like, okay, everyone's joined the cult. It seems like it, a little bit weird. They're living, off the land. They don't have running water, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But it's sus as soon as he's like, you know what, guys? I think I should be able to sleep with all the women. And you're like,
Oh, yeah.
whoa, wait a second.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, well, now I know it's a cult.
Yeah, pretty
Right.
much.
So that's usually like the number one identifier for those weird cults.
Yeah, fair enough.
Cool.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, I was gonna kind of talk like about. Oh, I guess we kind of segue into that, anyways. I was gonna say, when you watch like a serial killer documentary,
Okay.
and they talk about like how when they were young, they, did like they kill like animals or like, did weird stuff like
Yeah.
that. And then I was like, one time I was talking with Anthony about the one friend that the guy I kind of worked with for a little bit when I was younger, and how he was like kind of like that. And I was just gonna share it on the podcast because it's actually kind of funny when you think about thought processes and stuff. Because I don't think this guy was like a serial killer or anything because he hasn't killed anyone, but
Yes.
but it's just like, so I used to work at a cemetery, cutting grass just like one day a week, and when I was like 15, and like every now and then we come across like an animal or like a bug's nest or something, like a wasp nest that we have to spray to get it out of the way or whatever, and all fine or whatever. But the guy that I was working with, who was like the same age, he would just like, we'd shoot the wasp nest, but then he'd also like hit it with a stick or something,
Just
so we'd like
excessive.
we'd like spray the wasp nest with the stuff, but then he'd also like beat it to death with a stick. And so one day we're like using a weed whacker like around all the, we call them monuments, but like the tombstones, so the tractors can get in like closer.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just going around all of them, and he finds a snake. Right, we're right near the edge of the cemetery, which overlooks like a little ravine, like with grass and stuff. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, here, like, because I found snakes before, and you kind of just like, like little garter snake, like a foot long or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
maybe like 2 feet, and then they just throw them over the edge, they're gone. And he's like, yeah, okay, picks it up, holds it by the tail, and beats it to death off a rock.
What?
Goodness.
Yeah, I was like, dude, what are you doing?
I will say one thing about that though. I'm pretty sure this is true. The killing like animals, I think it's like contingent on them being small and helpless. Like killing something
domination factor.
Killing something that is a predator or whatever, like a snake could be seen as a threat. So it's potentially less of a indicator for a serial killer or whatever.
Oh yeah, well I mean, you just do like weird things.
That's fair.
But yeah, I was like, it was like a little snake, and he was like picking it up, and I was like, oh man, just throw it, like, we'll throw it over the fence, I guess. And he's like, turns around, and I was like, what did you just do? And then because he didn't like kill it, right? Then like hit it with a shovel, and I was like, I think you got it. I think you got it.
Just convince him it's dead so you can
Yeah.
throw it over the edge.
Yeah, but there you go. So there's also that. And then he would also do other things like, there was one time where we were driving the tractors, and he just made like poor decisions and forgot he had the roll bar up, and then drove it under a tree and hit a branch, and then like rolled the tractor over and stuff. Just a smart one in general.
So,
Bizarre.
unrelated to that, tangentially related to the new things that you've done during Corona season is I did a speed run in like heavy quotation marks of Banjo Kazooie yesterday. That was pretty sick.
I did watch some of it. Like I don't know. Like I wonder. I should Google. Oh wait, what you Googled it yesterday? How quick was the last? How quick was the speed run? Like the
The world record, most recent, was an hour and 30 minutes.
wow, and you took you 6 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Holy moly, that seems like if you were like 2.5 hours or something, I'd be like, oh yeah, someone who's really practiced has shaved off like an hour. 5 hours or like whatever 4.5 hours.
Yeah.
So
And I like
fast.
know the game. Like Chad's still working on it. He was at 7.5 hours, and I believe he's like halfway through the game now.
Really?
So that's kind of like the range that you can see with this. Like, me, I have a fair amount of knowledge of the game. Like I could sit me down with it for I guess that amount of time, and I'm able to complete it. So I'd say because like I probably played through the game like 5 times or something, and
Yeah.
I didn't know where everything was, granted, but I was definitely not doing like speedrun tech. I definitely wasn't doing like all the advanced stuff or whatever and just like moving optimally, knowing which one to go to and when. That kind of stuff is
Are you
pretty
playing
big.
it on an emulator?
I was actually playing it on Xbox 360 because there was
Oh,
an
nice.
XBLA re-release of it like 5 years ago or something.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I am on the speedrun.com website.
Okay.
There's a game, so Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Yeah. Oh, that's a real good one. What's the best time for that?
It says 16 seconds.
What?
That's got to be a very specific speed run.
It says, maybe,
Because there's some speed runs that are not too.
So this is maybe a boss battle?
Could be.
Or something.
Oh yeah,
This is
temperation standoff. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That makes sense. So that is a boss, like probably a super boss or something.
Holy moly.
Man, if you guys want to watch some really interesting speedrun stuff, SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom, which by the way, awesome game, getting a re-release or remastered version this year. But that game, yeah, basically had no speedrunning like anything until like 2010. I believe it came out in like 2003. And it's gone down, like I believe to start out it was something like a 3-hour run. The most recent any percent record is an hour and 1 minute. So they've shaved off 2 full hours from that game by like mastering it, abusing new glitches and stuff that they found, all that kind of stuff. It's nuts.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I don't know like too many of these. And I also don't like stock or lost like Cars, the PSP version.
Oh man, American Dad.
Cars is so fun, dude, for PSP. I had it. It was awesome.
Can I?
But here's Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah, so Banjo-Kazooie. You also have to. So I'm gonna look at the Xbox version because that's the one that I played. It looks like the record is this. Not 100%, any percent. The any percent record on Xbox is 59 minutes and 42 seconds.
Really?
So I was
This
5
one
hours
says-
behind.
The second fastest time for Mumbo's Mountain, 10 minutes and 37 seconds.
Oh, where's that? Yeah, I guess there would be like other.
Yeah, so they have like Banjo-Kazooie first. Any percentage, 1 hour, 59 minutes, 44 seconds.
No RBA, no DOG.
I don't know what that is.
Oh yeah, Mumbo's Mountain 100% trotless. Oh okay. Yeah, 8 minutes and 9 seconds.
That's crazy.
Yeah, honestly, it's a very I think that because Nintendo 64 games were like in this age of like there was new things happening, so like levels were like relatively simply put together, and there was a huge focus on how they were going to make the characters move around in the world. I think that's why like a lot of N64 games. Oh, have you guys ever? Oh, actually, here, let me just read this off real quick. Netherax says, I personally like Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild speedruns. Those are sick as well. They're because of like Breath of the Wild is essentially just like this physics sandbox kind of game. So you find like a lot of like
Yeah.
you can basically well, one thing that they do in the game or in the speedrun is they stasis a rock and then they climb up, or and then they hit it a whole bunch of times. So stasising something means that while it's stasis, you're able to like put momentum onto it by hitting it, but it won't move until the stasis lock ends. So they hit it a whole bunch of times so that it like, gets ready to start flying away, and then they climb up onto it, and then the rock unstasises, goes flying with them on it, and they like go across the entire map on this rock, which is unreal. They're like the pioneers on their rocks just driving around.
Really?
Aside from that, though, yeah, have you guys ever seen what is it, GoldenEye? The GoldenEye speedrun guy that just pops off.
No, I have. I played that game a while ago, but
I had that for PlayStation 2, I think it was. That was a good game.
Okay, I'm gonna see if I can find Ryan Lockwood. I think it's this one. Is it this one?
An MRRL.
Yeah, this one. This one's so funny. I will paste it in the chat. You guys gotta watch that one. This guy has been... So basically in GoldenEye speedruns, they do in-level timing, which basically just means that they're trying to... I mean, some people will do the entire game, but there's like a big push for like in-level, like trying to get the absolute best time, and they time it using in-game time. So it's like real precise, like down to like... If you can shave off a few extra milliseconds, you might bring your time down from a 113 to a 112 or a 112 to a 111 or whatever. So this guy, after like numerous attempts, finally gets his time down to a 112, and he's just popping off. He's got the VOD loaded and he's watching it on his stream, and like, yeah, oh man, he's just like, he's loving it so much. Yeah. So GoldenEye speedruns as well, very, very technical. The N64 was just like a golden age for that kind of stuff.
Man, N64 was unreal.
Mm-hmm. Love it. Love it or list it. I'm going to be playing through casually Banjo-Tooie. I'm not going to speed through it because I realized that since Banjo-Kazooie took me 6 hours, Banjo-Tooie is probably going to be in like the 18-hour range.
18.
So long.
Banjo-Tooie is like pretty significant here. Let me look up like how long to beat for Banjo-Tooie and Banjo-Kazooie. Talk amongst yourselves.
So Matt, what's the weather like there? No, I'm just kidding.
It is snowing.
Is
Yeah,
it?
it was. It was snowing and raining this morning when I went out.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, just for the record, how long to beat for Banjo-Kazooie says main story, average 11 hours, 18 minutes. Main plus extras is 15 hours, 55 minutes. Completionist is 14 hours. That doesn't make any sense. I guess if you just want to get all the collectibles, it kind of makes sense. So 14 hours is the estimate for Banjo-Kazooie. Now let me look up Banjo-Tooie. Completion is 24 hours, is what they're saying. Main story is 16. So already they've like doubled, basically, what the original estimate was for Banjo-Kazooie, which makes sense to me because it's just a much more in-depth game. There's a lot more to it. Graham, you can continue talking now.
Pardon me?
You can continue whatever you were saying.
Oh, I forgot what I was going to say.
Dang it.
My mom was just texting me quick. She's like, oh. But, yeah. That's
about it. Yep.
Yeah? Do you guys have
More or
anything else
less.
that you want to talk about? Because we got like another 15 minutes that we could do, or else we could.
Let me
end it.
tell you about COVID and my work.
Okay.
Oh.
So, our company decided that if you want to take time off, or if you just don't want to work,
Mm-hmm.
that they'll pay you
What?
full
Okay.
salary if you want to just not work.
Okay.
As soon as they announced that, 15 people left.
Well, why wouldn't you leave? If they're saying, like, you could. I mean, I guess, yes, it is an abuse of
Well,
the system, but, like,
Yeah. Well,
now
that,
your job is going to
and-
be significantly harder because of that, right? Because
Oh, I
you're
know.
making up for it?
But they're only paying you for 2 weeks,
Okay.
and then the insurance would take over. Or you can not use insurance and get just
your regular
unemployment.
salary.
Yeah. But I don't know. I found it kind of stupid how people were just like, "Oh, free money, cool.
Well,
Let's abuse the system."
Listen, here's what I'm going to
Because-
say about
Is
this.
the number one thing. It's exactly like the professor who did that, like, okay, I don't fail students, but let's do this. I'll average grades so no
Yeah.
one fails.
And then
The
everyone
average,
fails.
yeah, like the people in the class were doing like their grades were like 5%. Because no one was
Yeah.
going to do the work to lift up the class average.
Exactly. And this is
Oh,
the
pretty
problem with
much.
humans in general. It doesn't matter. Like, even me being someone who prides myself more or less on my ability to do hard work and, like, do it well, I'm still like, man, there is, like, I'm not going to be very far ahead by actually doing my job right now because you're essentially incentivizing me to just, like, not. Like, your job doing that and saying, like, oh yeah, we're going to pay you full salary to not be here, you've now incentivized me to not care and not want to do my job then. Like,
Yeah.
what benefit do I have to being here? Like, you know,
Yeah.
it's so obviously, like, from a, oh, if I want to, you know, maximize my gains, which is something that generally people want to do, if I want to, I could go to work and utilize 8 hours of the day at work and then get paid X amount of money, or I can stay at home, do whatever I want for an entire 8 hours, and still get X amount of money. There's an obvious choice there. And, like, as much as you want to call it whatever, like, try and, like, stigmatize it and say, like, oh yeah, like, you shouldn't do that. If people shouldn't be doing that, then it shouldn't be an option because people will,
It shouldn't.
like, 80% of people will probably just take the easy way out. And it's stupid and it's obviously wrong, but people
Yeah.
don't care. Like, I will say it's wrong to the end of time, but given that decision or given that option, do you think that, like, maybe you wouldn't take it? Like, obviously, Matt, good on you. You're sticking around. Like, that
Yeah.
is good. That's admirable. But it also doesn't get you much in the long run. I guess, yes, it makes you look better in your boss's eyes, so maybe you're going to be, like, advancing or whatever more than other
Yeah.
people. Like, they're going to look at you more favorably in the long run. But that's about it. And then let's say you did get, like, you quit or you get fired or whatever, then you were essentially just at zero. You didn't gain or lose anything
You
from
didn't
that
gain
at
anything,
all
yeah.
because your new employers aren't going to care about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Well, yeah, but like they initially started out with like, oh, like you can take it if you need it, just have some time off. Then they changed it to take it only if you need to quarantine.
Right.
Then they said like, if you take it, you can only get paid for 2 weeks, and you have to be like symptom free before you can come back to work, or unless if we tell you to come back to work.
So,
So,
is
like-
this like if you have the symptoms, you're allowed to take time off?
So if I was, yeah, so like if I was like, oh, like I'm gonna call in today and say I have a sore throat,
Right.
I couldn't just go back in 2 days and be like, oh, like I'm feeling better.
Right.
Like they would have to tell me when I can come back to work.
and
and
I'm
I
guessing
would have to
your
buy-
job doesn't have work from home options then, right?
Not entirely. Like half of it could be, but most of it I need to be there.
So why wouldn't they just, for the people that are going home, tell them to do the half of the stuff that could be done remote and then get the people that are coming in to just do the on-site stuff?
Well, those people, because I recently moved apartments, like those people have to be there to do the work.
Hmm.
So like, if they're at home, they're pretty much useless.
Fair enough.
Yeah, which is, I don't know. I found it kind of dumb how, like, the same time they announced that they would pay, like,
Yeah, all of a
literally, like,
sudden
right
now
after
everyone's
lunch,
going to.
everyone left.
Yeah,
So
like,
it's
it's
kinda dumb.
tough, but I can see both sides. Like, I can see the fact that
Oh, yeah, 100%.
if given
Like,
the
if they're gonna
option,
pay
you
me to stay
don't.
home.
Yeah, Why would you
Yeah.
like imagine not real life. Imagine in a game, because this makes it easier to decide or to like see it objectively, right?
Yeah.
We're playing Monopoly or something, right? I've got all my hotels or whatever. I'm doing really well. Graham's doing not so well. Um, and then we get to, let's say, like 9 o'clock at night. We're like, okay, we want to stop playing this. Um, if you guys go home for the night, then I'm gonna just put some money in. Like, we're gonna just pretend like everything was going well for that. And actually, no, this is actually a good example of this as well. We're going to just move you around the board once per hour, so you just continue collecting $200 and you don't lose anything for the entire night. Or if you stick around, then you potentially gain more and you also potentially lose more, because that's another part of this that potentially isn't really thought about all that much, is that yes, staying at work puts you at a greater potential advantage, but also now because your job has become harder and there's more risk of failure, it puts you in the limelight of potential extreme failure, which then looks more poor
Bad
on
on
you,
you.
right?
Yeah.
Like it's like a high risk, high reward potential, but also high risk, I guess yeah, just high risk of the bad stuff as well. Like for me, in my job, it's only gotten like it's probably like 8 times harder or whatever than it used to be. And it's not as if people are really like patting me on the back every day and saying like, "Oh wow, what a good job." Like they've said a few things like, "Oh yeah, we'd like to really thank our IT department" or whatever. That's fine. It's nice to get some credit, I guess. But anytime that anything goes wrong, everyone still turns around and they're ready to, noose the IT guy because something related to a computer went wrong. And it's like, yeah, so if I was given the option to just potentially take 2 months or whatever, where I get the exact same amount of pay and there's no risk of me losing my job for 2 full months, maybe that's
Why
worth
not?
it, right? So you could see it from that side and be like, oh yeah, it's just beneficial. And then you can see it from the other side and be like, oh yeah, well you get the benefit without the ability to advance. So it all kind of
No, I
balances out.
agree.
Yeah. It is
No, I don't know.
a
Like,
weird situation that
it's
we're in.
fine now. Like, I guess people are starting to come back and like their pay is up, so like they need to work again. But yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, it just doesn't really. I don't know. It doesn't like offering that to everyone does seem unfair to those people that still have to work.
Yeah.
A little bit. But at the same time, it does seem a little bit like if it's offered, why wouldn't you take it kind of deal.
That's the thing. Yeah.
Right?
100%.
Like game theory kind of deal. It's no question. You're getting benefit with no drawbacks, essentially. So why would you not take it? The problem arises from the fact that if everyone takes it, then no one can. And even like if a certain percentage takes it, it puts larger and larger strain on the people that do not take it. Whether it's, there's the whole idea of like what I was saying where the jobs get harder. There's also the fact that the more people that go on unemployment, the less that I reasonably, like if you look at all the finances and stuff, the less that I'm actually getting paid, because I'm gonna have to pay more in taxes, I'm gonna have to pay more in this and more in that.
Yeah, now I can the only place that I would see someone like you benefiting is if some of these people, because obviously they can't get paid by the government forever, right?
No.
Well,
so that will end at some point for a majority of the people. And the only way that you would benefit from that is if when they stop getting paid by the government, if their jobs no longer exist.
but that's not even a benefit. Like yes, it seems like
No,
a
like,
benefit
then
because my
your
job,
job
I'm still
security.
employed, so I'm still working.
Yeah.
But still, now we're headed towards an economic entire crash because there's a lot of people that are jobless. And when a lot of people are jobless, what's more than likely going to happen is they're going to implement something like universal basic income, which then puts more of like, why am I even working? Because now there's a system in place where I might get paid almost equal by not working. Like, this is a huge issue that we might be headed towards, where like there's literally no benefit to me working, but if I don't and other people stop, then like the entire country just ceases to work because you
Yeah,
can't
like
have
in
no one
April,
working.
Canada lost almost 2 million jobs, and the unemployment
Goodness.
rate is 13%.
There's a
Oh,
lot. That's so much.
yeah.
1,993,800.
So I guess
So in March, the unemployment rate was 7.8%.
the
so
point
it's
to anyone that's like
almost
listening to
doubled.
this is if you are capable of working, even though it seems like there is no benefit, you should do the right thing. You should go
Yeah.
back to
Well,
work.
I listened to Howard Levitt, who is an employment lawyer, and he was saying that employers can be the responsible ones in the situation of workers not wanting to work by changing their record of employment. Because what happens when you go on unemployment is you have to change your record of employment so it shows that you're now unemployed or laid off, and then you can collect unemployment. But in the event of, let's say your business opens up and someone's like, well, why would I want to work if I can still collect unemployment? If the owner of the business, like your boss, changes your record of employment and says that you have been recalled,
Oh,
so
then
your
you
job
can't
is
keep
available
collecting
and you're
the
not, and you're
unemployment.
choosing not to work, then you can't collect unemployment.
That makes sense. Yeah, that
So
would be a good. So if you're in a position where you could potentially do that, maybe not now. Like I don't think that we're necessarily at the point yet where this is
Well,
like a
no,
pressing issue, but
some
it is definitely
well, some of the
responsible to do that.
places like a bakery that's reduced their hours,
Mhm.
but so like this, like the reason he was answering this question was because someone asked the question, like, I own a bakery. We're open, like we're officially allowed to be open because we're deemed an essential service now, because they took like they were closed for like a week or two because no one knew what to do for those like first 2 weeks of everything being
Right.
closed. So he's like, we're open now, but our hours are reduced. So with like how much I'm paying like my staff with like the reduced hours, they're going to be making kind of the same as their benefits. And one of them said he didn't want to come into work.
Right.
And then he's like, well, simply all you have to do just to get them to work is change the record of employment, and this guy cannot collect unemployment anymore. As long as, like, obviously if the business is offering you like 8 hours a week, you can still collect unemployment. But he wasn't offering like 8 hours a week. He just wasn't offering full time, but it was still more than or about equal to what the person would be collecting on unemployment.
That is, the most likely thing to fix this, because some would say, okay, the only way to fix this is to give in to the crash, right? Like, let's say that I'm thinking, okay, it's not worthwhile for me to continue working. Okay, then I and everyone else has to stop working so that eventually the situation just gets bad enough that something has to give. But something could give in a very bad way. So I think that this, like changing the record of employment, saying this person is allowed back at work now. So if they're not working, they're doing it of their own volition. That's like that makes complete sense to me. Netherax on YouTube is saying it's harder right now to get a job since they don't want to take the risk of getting corona during the interview from said person. That's fair as well. Yeah, I think that especially for students, like I'm not trying to call anyone out or anything like that as well. I'm not trying to say like if you're not working right now, you're lazy. But I am saying that there is the potential for people to become lazy. Like it's not even like okay, I'm lazy. Like imagine if you were working in whatever, like pretty consistently. I'm even to some extent I'm finding this with my job because like I don't know if I'm going to be able, like I'm going to be able to eventually, but like adjusting to being back in the office full time when I've been working from home is going to be very difficult. And I can't even imagine it for people that, essentially have had like a 2-month vacation at this point, right? Like,
for real.
They're not going to be able to really integrate back in. I think that there's going to be like some kind of rift where people are going to start like looking for employees that like were still working or whatever, because there's going to be like a different work ethic probably for those people compared to the people that...
And obviously right now, like I've just graduated, so I'm looking for a job. It's not the best time to look for a job when unemployment is just going up.
Yeah.
But like a lot of places, like I've been looking at, different towns like the YRP, the
Mhm.
town of Georgina, the town of Newmarket, town of Aurora, EG, everywhere. They're just not hiring right now because they can't do in-person interviews. So just like I guess Connor was mentioning, right?
Well, it's that.
They've suspended recruiting practices right now.
They're also trying to save. Like, I know that there was like a ton, not a ton, but there was enough. There was probably like 5 or 10 jobs up, like, interviewing and all that kind of stuff in EG. Not to mention like the summer students and all that, but that's a whole other can of worms. But
Yeah,
just like jobs that we were hiring for, and they've basically put an entire hold on that at this point. Like, they don't want to hire anyone. They're not going to even think. I don't think they're going to be giving us our like yearly increase on our salary. They're not upgrading anyone's status or anything like that. Like, it's basically full stop on that, and then potentially even trying to pull back in some areas to be like, I don't think that they're planning on firing anyone, at least not yet. But I do know that some municipalities have cut back pretty severely on their workforce to like, because they didn't have a good nest egg. I'm pretty sure that EG actually had like a pretty decent amount of money saved up for like emergencies or whatever in case they needed it, and so that's been probably very helpful.
That's
but
the thing.
I have no
like,
idea for other municipalities. I think
I was
some of them
thinking
are,
of
like,
applying to like post-secondary institutions, and that's like just a no-go right now. Like
Mm.
universities and colleges aren't hiring anyone.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think anyone, like, right now it's more the financial uncertainty. People are trying to maybe maintain, if not just reduce the amount of employees that they have. And
Yeah.
that's probably, like, depending on how the economy goes, which it will only get worse if less people are working. That's going to be the case for a lot of places. So I do agree, yeah, like just the in-person interview and all that kind of stuff will be a factor, but I don't think that that's the only factor that's going to be.
No,
like,
no. It's just
hitting
like that's one of the
that
things,
stuff.
and then also places like I was reading one of the universities in England. I don't know why England especially, but they were saying they're facing like $150 million deficit because of the lack over the next year,
Yeah.
because of the lack of. I think they rely heavily on international students,
Okay.
right? Like students completing master's degrees from other countries, and international students they wanting to study in
And
wherever
they
it
just
is,
can't
like
go to England right
some
now.
part of Scotland. Yeah, like some part of Scotland. But um, they're like, yeah, and so they are like halting all. Well, one, they're laying off like a bunch of staff, but they're also like halting all like grants that the school would hand out. They're also like halting all like construction projects or anything that the school is like infrastructure that the school is working on, and they're focusing on just like I don't know, survive, not going literally under.
Yeah, that's the case. I feel like for a lot of things. Um, yeah, my dad has cousins in Italy, and they're basically like, because apparently Italy's trying to reopen. They're saying something along the lines of like they're allowed to reopen their restaurant now, but the restrictions are such that like their restaurant, which would probably generally hold like 25, 30 people or whatever, would only be allowed to hold like 7 at a time, and they'd have to be like evenly spaced out and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
It's
There's
so much
also
extra
tons of
work.
other restrictions where it's like after every single person that uses the washroom, they have to immediately send someone in to clean it. Like, there's these ridiculous restrictions that are going to basically make it so it's like, you know what? Is it even worth it for us to open our doors now?
yeah, for real.
Like, do we just wait until this is entirely over? Which
Well,
won't be
and
an
I also
option.
saw like another thing where how Italy was like leading in death toll and all that kind
Yeah.
of stuff and illnesses. They actually switched to England,
Man.
and England did the practice of I don't think they really social distanced. I think they kind of were like, okay, all the old people stay inside. We're just going to kind of do the regular.
It was a
I
bad idea.
think.
Yeah.
Apparently, it seems like it was a bad idea. Boris Johnson got coronavirus.
Did he actually get it?
Yeah, I think he was in the hospital for a little bit.
I
and
know
then-
he was in the hospital. I didn't know he actually like got it.
I thought I heard that he got it as well, but
Yeah, I
don't
think
know.
he's over it now, or better. But so yeah, they're not doing well. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
I don't know, man.
yeah.
Game over, man. Game over.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We're teetering on the edge of a lot of like disaster scenarios, so it's going to be interesting to see how the next year and a half.
I did
2
see a
years ago.
good meme, and it was like, I think it was a ship, like a cruise ship, going through like the Panama Canal or something, where it's very narrow,
Okay.
and they were like, it was like all of society and like coronavirus or whatever, like crumbling, and it was like me and the boys gaming like nothing's happening.
Oh yeah,
And
I
was
saw
like,
one as well. That was like how I thought the apocalypse would be, and it's like Fallout, like just whatever, just the game Fallout. And
Yeah.
then how the apocalypse actually is, and it's a guy playing Fallout on his TV.
Yeah, those are good.
Yeah.
It's literally crazy, like how everything's going. Like, I don't know,
Yeah.
Crazy times, man.
crazy times.
All right. Well, I think we're over an hour now, so we're good. You guys have any closing remarks?
Always
Closing
tip your
arguments?
waitresses.
Nice.
Yeah, double.
Yeah.
Double.
Do
Okay.
you tip
Take
your
it easy,
waitress
Matt.
during Rona season?
No. Only if
When I
you're
went to
actually
Big
there.
Bone, I
Ooh.
gave them 20%, I believe.
Yeah, you got to tip better during Rona season, I think. Not the waitresses, because
Yeah.
they don't exist, but in
Wow,
general.
now that I talk about Big Bone, guess what I'm gonna go order?
Really? Nice. They don't open until
That
3,
was
just
at 2
FYI.
o'clock. Oh, okay.
At least they
You
did
guys
it
getting?
yesterday. Huh?
You guys want?
I got it
You guys want
yesterday. I would, but
Graham,
mean-
do you want?
No,
Can't.
I'm good. I'm good.
all right. Well, thanks for
Okay.
watching on YouTube. It's been a pleasure. I'm gonna
Been a
try and.
slice.
This was
Thanks
actually
for the
really
season.
easy last week, I think, to fix up and put it into like Audacity. So I'm gonna try and do that by tomorrow if possible. So watch for the podcast on all streaming platforms by tomorrow.
Thank you for your questions, everyone.
Yeah,
And as
Remember-
always,
No truck balls.
yeah. Put truck nuts on
Yeah.
Graham's truck.
yeah, the first person to put truck nuts on Matt's truck becomes the first honorary member of the podcast.
That's true.
Oh.